Well, hello, my darlings. Back for part 2 of my toilet paper embossed tucks. So we got them in the book now. So hope you stick around. I'll show you what I've been up to. So I'm really liking the overall distressing with the color schemes in my Nevermore. Loving that wood effect one. And I'll go through the little folios I've made to fit inside. And no, I hope you stick around with me and keep watching. So for you, I'll be back in a tick. Right, my darlings, let's work on some inserts for those embossed tucks. So I started with a coffee spray. I've bought like bottom shelf bargain instant coffee, less than £1. Made it up quite concentrated. Let it cool, got it in a spray bottle. I went through my stash, and I found a couple of stray Tim Holtz papers. I think they're Tim Holtz papers. And again, like the tucks, but with coffee. I've sprayed them with coffee and then gone back with those same sprays. So that will be sort of a folio. As you can see, that teal bottle went completely, I don't know what's wrong with it, but it's gone all up under my fingernails. So I've done that one. That one will go up like that. So these need to go through the sewing machine before I do anything else with them. Those two. These papers, I have no idea where these papers have come from. They were a couple of pennies a sheet in one of the local D-stash events. So I've got 2 of those, and what I'm going to do is I've sliced them, and that bit is going to get sewn on there before I fold it in half to be an insert, and the same as that one. It's quite a sort of creepy medallion face emblem on there, and it's all over the backside as well. So I quite like that. So that's going to have that on top to fold up. Those go through the sewing machine. And the last 2 had some like textured, not heavy, but textured cardstock. So that's just had, which way is that? Yes, I've inked the edges. So that's going to be the pocket on the inside. And then you've got that sort of grunginess on the back that you can work with. And the other one, that's still slightly wet. But that, again, is going to be under like that and folded once it's dry to go through the sewing machine. So I need to finish drying this one and run everything through Darling, my sewing machine. So back with you in a tick. Right, my darlings, back with the signatures and my toilet paper tucks and my folios ready to go in. Put these out of the way a minute. So I've already sort of paired them up to the right height. So I'm quite pleased with how they've come out with the sewing for sure. So we'll go through these now and get them stuck in. I haven't gone back and sort of embellished fronts on any of these or put anything into the pockets, but they're ready. The bases are ready to go for me to do that at another time. So a little bit of time to play this evening, so let's get them stuck in. I've put clips in here so I know where I'm at. So the first one goes there. So that one is actually taller than the page, but it shouldn't be taller than the top of the signature, if that makes sense, once it's in. So let's get this one in. with some art. I was going to tear these down to make smaller ones, but I quite like the effect, so I'm going to leave them as larger tucks. That one's quite tall, so I'm going to go right to the edge, and it should be plenty secure enough. A little bit. Oh, come on. Got little fingers. Like a little kid. There we go. Get that down. And art is pretty quick at grabbing. Get my fingers. Pin in the glue. So I'm not going to stuff that in yet, but I'm going to put it there. So I know that's going to sit quite high. And if I need to shave a tiny bit off, that's doable. So leave that one there. Actually, let's put the clip back on it, so I'm not hunting for it. And then the other one in the first signature is going on this flat out. And that's that red one. And this was a complete coincidence that the colors matched up on this one. Complete coincidence, because that's cut not as tall because it's the top of the signature. So let's get this one in. And well, I could do it from the inside instead of the outside corner and have it go in that way. Yeah, let's do it from the in, or no, the outside. I don't want it falling out. Yeah, outside. And hope everyone out there is happily crafting away at something. I need to go and have a big search through my room. I don't have a great deal of gothic or darker ephemera, so I need to dig some things out and see what I can find. I'll put that right at the corner, because this is quite a short tuck. And pop that on there for just a moment until Art does his thing. So that's the first signature. And second signature, we've got our scarecrow, and that's going on here. Again, the colors have worked out a nice combination. I might try putting that one actually on the inside, because that's just a standard page. Yeah, let's do it. A little bit of variety. Make sure I've got my hand on the corner, things go in. I've learned that one over the years, to think about where you're holding your piece when you flip it upside down to glue, and that way you don't accidentally glue a side that you don't want stuck down. So this was toilet paper and water, embossing folders, some distress sprays, some homemade homemade distress sprays, which I do with liquid watercolor paint and water. And I've also seen a hack and tried a hack to turn that watercolor into more like a proper oxide spray. You add calcium carbonate and gum arabic to it. And then, of course, something agitated in the spray bottle as well. So if anybody's interested in that, please let me know down in the comments. Perhaps I'll do a video on how to mix those up. So pop that back in there a minute. art to do his thing. Where's the other one? There's the other one, that back flip out again. And that, I think I'm going to do that one. That'll fit. That's my blood spidered one. I'm so chuffed with how that came out. That distress is perfect for this book. And, pardon me. And that wood grain is just to die for. I love it. I need to like mass make a whole bunch of those one day, just so that I've got them on hand, and then sort of perhaps try to get some different wood tones going on to be used in different theme journals. You imagine sort of a paler oak version of that, and like an Edith Holden would be lovely, or maybe a birch type effect. And Edith Holden or Shabby Chic's book. Get that down in the corner. Art, do your thing. I'm thinking I might have to trim some of these folios down, because I think when I measured it, I can't remember if I kept into account that tiny edge there when I was measuring for heights. We shall see. Art, do your thing now, come on. Go. Pop that back on there. And it's getting some bulk now, so that's the second signature. Third signature, first page, and I want that one. So I'm doing that one as the pocket, but that will definitely need, you know, something more added to it to be a sort of, to fit in with the sort of Dracula aesthetic here. So now I've had really quite fun with this. Still got paint under one of my fingernails. It won't come out, but hey ho, it means I've had fun, isn't it? It's like little kids coming out of school covered in dirt and paint and glue. Put that there. And no, sometimes I think, oh, I want to do something really messy, and then I think, well, I really don't want to have to tidy up afterwards. But tidy up wasn't bad for this one at all. Using those A3 grungy sacrificial pages, it's not too bad. So that one is there. My envelope's there that are probably going to move. And what's in that? Oh yeah, I added her. And a bit of demonic possession in that one. That was one of the pictures from my Nightmare Fuel. And then that last one I'm going to add there with that one. And the castle ties quite nicely in with Dracula as well. I got a box over there with like proper antique and vintage like documents and things. So I need to get it pulled out, go through it, and see if there's anything I can fit within sort of Poe's time frame. I don't think I have anything that particularly old, not from like the early 1800s. Apart from some Victorian picture buttons. I do have some little Victorian picture buttons that date from that time period. But I don't really want to use those until I find out if they're worth anything. I've sort of squirreled those away to the side. Because they date from the early 1800s, they do. Pinning the glue. Come on, can't see it. There we go. Pin in the glue. And that paint's come off my fingers. How's that then? It is dry. Right, pop that on there. And we'll go back to the front then Art will have time to do his thing and tuck them in. So look, I'm starting to get a good size now. I'm starting to get a good size. Nice and squishy. Much more room on the top than the middle. And room on the bottom. So I need to add some top embellishments for sure. But no, it's beefing up quite nicely now. So, pardon me. There. And where was it? Here. So that can then slide in here. And test now. Is it going to be too tall? Oh, a tiny bit. It's sticking up just a tiny, tiny bit. Yes. So I must not have taken enough into account for that bottom when I was measuring the height. But I might be able to, if it's only that tiny bit on all of them, I could probably get away with that during the binding process because my pages are sort of higgledy-piggledy anyway. So, yeah. See this one fits. Put my clips back away. Yeah, that's a perfect fit there. Well, no, look. No, it's like a tiny, tiny, tiny bit over the top. I can work with that. I might even be able to just shave off a little bit on one end with the paper trimmer. So let's get this one in. And have a test. Is it going to line up? No, again. No, it is in. That's it there. It is inside the signature. So happy with that one. And that's inside the signature. That goes over, that flips out. That goes over, that flips out. Try this one. Fits width-wise. Stick it out a tiny bit on the top. So, but happy with how that is. And that one goes, that's quite a tall one. In here. And that's fine, height-wise. So when you're looking at the front of the signature, hold on, I gotta sneeze. Right, what was I saying? Yes, because you've got this overlapping flippy-flappy thing going on within the signature, because that's the only side here that'll get bound in. That's still visible, that's visible. There's bits back there that are visible, but that opens up. That opens up. So quite happy with that. That goes in, over, and again, you can still see elements of it through the book. In, what have I done? Yes. I'm losing the center, see, as I'm flipping through. That flips out. And that one's got a folio in it. Our last one, there. And that then will fit snugly in there. That might need to be, that's a little bit close on that edge. Because if I stuff that, I might need to trim it down a bit. But I'll work with that as I go along. And it fits. Only just. So there are my 3 signatures. All, well, not stuffed. You know what I mean. But if I compress them down, you know, you're still not within, I think I've got about a 2.5-inch spine cut out of gray board ready for this to see which direction I'm going to go. And some of this bulk, again, is from those wax seals, which I'm going to think about. I may have to take 3. There's 6 of them in there. I may take 3 of those out. Just to, it depends on where I end up, basically. So now that's me done for part 2. I'm going to go rummage around to see what other darker Poe-inspired ephemera that I can find in my stash here. And hope you're all doing lovely out there. Happy crafting. And if you like what you see, please leave me a comment. Give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. This is still a new journey for me, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So thank you, my darlings, and hope to see you back again soon. Bye for now.